Bruce, thanks for joining me again today with some exciting news regarding another project opportunity in Utah, not far from your flagship Paradox Brine project. You've reported that the company is gearing up to commence exploration at the Yellowcat uranium-vanadium project in Utah. Now, it's clear from the announcement that Yellowcat has some exciting historical grades and production numbers, but digging a little bit deeper, can you elaborate on these historical numbers and what grabbed your attention when you pegged the ground back in 2018?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Nice to talk to you again. Just wanted to start off, though, by saying that the Paradox Brine project still remains the focus of the company at this point in time. But what we're seeing with the Yellowcat project is something that we anticipated when we picked up the project a few years ago. And we see this as a paradigm shift in the market, creating a catalyst for the development of uranium in the United States. And there's two main things which are going on at the moment, which are making this project very exciting. So first of all, over the past 3 months, we've seen a 38% increase in the spot price for uranium, which is great news for us, as well as seeing a shift in government policy in the United States. So they're looking to provide support for the redevelopment of their domestic uranium industry. So those two factors are really driving the interest in uranium and the interest in uranium projects. But getting back to your question about the Yellowcat project, we have a lot of data from the previous exploration programs that have been conducted there, back in the 50s. One good thing about these projects is a lot is left behind. So we've actually been there just recently to have a look at the adits that are there, the old workings on the project. And what really attracted Anson to the project originally was the very high grades that are recorded as historical results there from previous drilling activities. So we have 6 feet at about 30,000 ppm uranium. We have 1.7 feet at 5,000 ppm uranium and 16,200 ppm in another location. So what we've visited, we've been able to see the uranium in the walls of the adits. It's quite obvious that it's there. It's yellow, and you can see what attracted the old guys to this area. So we're quite excited about those results. But also there's been historical production over this area at Yellowcat. So they've got about 114 million pounds at 2,400 ppm of uranium recorded from the historical production there. So that's quite exciting for us.
You've also highlighted recent US government policy changes aimed at supporting domestic uranium production ahead of what they anticipate to be a global supply squeeze. Given Anson's already heavily invested in the US and you're currently on the ground over there, can you give me a brief rundown on what the sentiment towards uranium is like in the US at the moment? And what advantages do you have being located in the US compared to some of the other major jurisdictions globally?
Yeah, on the second point, I think that's very important, that we have a strategic advantage in that we're already located here. Yellowcat is about 40 kilometres away from the Paradox Brine project. It takes about 40 minutes to drive there, and there's people in the area that we're currently using are also available to assist us with developing this project. So there's some real strategic advantages of already being here and having contacts and networks that we're able to draw on to get the project moving along quickly, and that's really quite an important thing. I think we need to push the project along as fast as possible. What's happened in the US is, Donald Trump has been driving a change in policy over the past 3 years. Currently, the United States imports most of the uranium, and it's either Russia or Kazakhstan, perhaps Canada, that are providing them with their uranium. But of course, Donald Trump wants the country to be self-reliant. There's some reason for that around about this time, it's time to replace the uranium in the nuclear power stations. The uranium ore has a limited life, which I understand is around about 10 years, and that's coming to an end. So looking ahead over the next couple of years, they're going to have to replace a lot of that uranium in their nuclear power stations. Donald Trump wants that to be replaced with US uranium, which they have. And, we're in the exact area where it was previously mined during the 50s for the Cold War activities and other things. That's what the working group that they have established to reinvigorate or reestablish the uranium industry in the United States. And they've moved from having committee meetings and discussions into formulation of policies, and I think in the next couple of years that will become a reality.
Thanks, Bruce. Just on Yellowcat, I also note that it's within trucking distance to the White Mesa Mill, which is the only conventional, fully licensed and operational uranium-vanadium mill in the US. If I could just fast forward a little bit, can you talk me through what kind of optionality this provides, should you start looking more seriously at potential project development options?
Yeah, well, as you know, infrastructure in the mining industry is very important. One of the great things about the United States is that it does have a lot of existing infrastructure and, established businesses, and in this case, a mill. So this is a uranium-vanadium project. So there's a vanadium credit in the ore that we have, which also provides an opportunity. It's in sandstone, so it's soft. They're able to mill it quite and separate the uranium-vanadium from the sandstone quite easily. It separates, if you like, you crush it up. Sandstone sort of melts away fairly readily. There is a couple of new processes around that we've been looking at to process uranium. But at the moment, that mill is available. It's very close to where we're located. It's operating below capacity, and there are some reports indicated 10% of capacity. So they haven't had the feed. There are opportunities for either selling the ore to that company or tolling the ore, perhaps concentrating it first on site and then sending it down to the mill to process. And so all that means is the approval process is to get a mill operating. That time delay is taken away. So that's another great opportunity about this area in Utah, that we're able to provide semi-processed or semi-concentrated ore to a mill which is nearby, thus saving the capital cost that's required to build a mill.
So looking more immediately, what do your initial exploration plans look like for Yellowcat, and how quickly can you get on the ground and see some action?
Yeah, well, we've been looking at Yellowcat last week, and a lot of the ore is visible, which makes it a lot easier, and there are adits. So these are, you can walk into the ore body and see the ore body in the walls of the adits. So that makes it a lot easier. And there's also some existing drilling and drilling results. Of course, they're not JORC 2012 results, but there is drilling, historical drill results and historical holes and results from those holes. So all that makes the program a lot easier. We have a lot of data, as I said before, and we will need to do some interpretation of that data, putting that together. And we do some work there in the adits or down the existing wells. So overall, we're putting that exploration program together at the moment and getting an understanding of that. And we've been talking to some people about who might do that work. So I think in the next few months we'll be able to get that moving along fairly quickly, and then aiming towards a drilling program to reconfirm what has been found there before.
Thanks, Bruce. And just finally, I see Anson's also launched a share purchase plan. Can you recap the key details of that SPP? And is there any important information that you'd like to relay to shareholders who may be listening?
Yes. The reason we've done SPP is obviously it's offered to existing shareholders. And that's what we've tried to do, is to provide a reward for the shareholders that have stuck with us over the past few years. And so what we've done in this SPP is to base it on a 5-day VWAP, so that gives us a lot closer to the value of the shares at the time of closure, and then we offer a 20% discount off that price. So that's a great advantage for anybody who takes up the offer at 5 days before the close. It's going to be a discount price, so that'll be something that we think that shareholders should be interested in. At the same time, we have interested parties, and we have an underwriter up to $1 million for that SPP. So if the shareholders are not interested for whatever reasons, then there is an opportunity there to raise money from another source through the underwriter. And at the back end of the SPP, there's also another $1 million there, which can be offered to possible investor to top up the amount of money that we are raising. So all in all, I think it's a good opportunity for shareholders to take another stake in ASN, put their faith in the company, and take advantage of a slightly lower share price, and then hopefully everything going well, the share price will reward them down the track.
Fantastic. Look, thanks very much for joining me today, Bruce. Really looking forward to see how things progress at Yellowcat, so it's something I'll definitely keeping an eye on. But thanks very much for joining me, and all the best.
Yeah, very exciting times. Thanks, Alex. See you later.